Triple XP. Triple XP.
Didn't we start like 40 minutes ago?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Do it.
I've started.
Have you started recording yet?
Yeah, of course.
You have started
Yeah,
recording?
of course I have.
Wonderful.
No, I haven't.
Oh, fuck's sake.
No, I have. I'm joking. You can do it.
Yeah,
now.
20 minutes ago.
Right, you have started recording now, yeah?
Yeah. Yes. God.
Good. But you don't fucking make it clear. It's so fucking hard to know what's happening anymore. Just, you hurt my heart.
Welcome to Triple XP.
I mean, you've got that bit covered. Welcome to Triple XP. This is episode 12. I'm Shane, and this is Mike.
Hello.
And this week with us, we have Cheese.
Greetings, friends.
Oh, really? With the cheesy
ruined it.
jokes.
Hey, man, I've been looking at how you've spelled favorite wrong for this entire week, and I was going to get out my little cheese joke because I can't handle the U in favorite, so. It's angsty. I'm just angsty.
Okay.
Okay, well, we'll leave you there then. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and all the other podcast places. On this week's episode, we talk Oscar Isaac's new possible role. Mike plays Worms Rumble. And we talk about our favourite video game villains. But firstly, how are you all? Well, apart from Cheese, as we already know that he's angsty.
Always angsty.
Always.
Yeah.
Good week?
Not too bad. It's not been a great week because I had some PS5 Preorder Woes. Which,
Oh, that was hilarious.
Which Cheese and everyone else took delight in just twisting the knife.
Well, on the other hand, I'm great because I have a PS5 and it's
Fuck
awesome.
you.
Me too, Cheese. Me too.
Goddamn bitches.
I was just watching you tweet about the little man going up and then seeing
mate.
Max dash your hopes with that game tweet.
Oh, it ruined my days.
That made my day.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
like
it was...
when I tweeted out, I'm live tweeting my fucking my progress in trying to secure a pre-order. I also tweeted out at the same time another tweet saying, "And they sold out," because I just knew that it was like. And then Max sent me that game link. Gave me hope, man. Max, you bitch, you son of a bitch. You gave me hope.
All I could think about is that scene in Endgame where he's like, "Don't give me hope. I can't handle hope."
Yeah.
That's literally you at Max right
exactly now. Exactly that. Yeah. Max is Scarlett Johansson and I'm Hawkeye.
Yeah, that's
which makes this whole situation even sadder.
Sadder and sexier.
But other than that, I'm drinking wine and I'm fine. Just crying into my wine.
Cheese, what about you? Have you had a good week?
Yeah, I'm good. Literally, I've been playing my PS5. Sorry, Mike. And yeah, it's been good. Christmas is on its way, and we've been getting some house stuff done and hanging out. It's been a good week.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you, I haven't had the best week. It's been very full on at work. Had an interview that I was unsuccessful in, so that was a pain. One of those things.
Well, at least you got a PS5, mate.
But yeah, at least I got a PS5. And I was saying to Cheese before the episode started while you were off doing your thing, I've spent the entire day today doing nothing. I've literally just watched 12 episodes of She-Ra back to back over the course of like 4 hours. And I'm now drinking a bottle of Captain Morgan's mango and pineapple rum. So, you know, it's turning around already.
That's exactly how I picture you just spending your days off, just getting drunk, watching cartoons.
Well, I literally turned around to the other half this morning, was like, yeah, I'm not doing any cleaning today. I'll do it all tomorrow. I'm just going to watch TV today and play games. And she was like, okay.
Yeah,
so she's at work today and tomorrow, so as long as it's done before a day off, it's fine.
Nice.
I was going to clean my bathroom today, and so literally all I did was like sprayed a little bit of the cleaner to see if it would work, and it worked. I'm like, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. That was the entire extent. I'm like, oh, it works. So it should be easy tomorrow or the next day or whenever Becca eventually does it for me because I just won't do it.
Yeah, see, my extent of cleaning today is I've not even showered, so I'm refusing to clean myself. I'm just like, nope, I'm not doing any cleaning. I'm just going to sit on the sofa, like Jabba the fucking Hutt, and watch TV and drink rum.
And sulk in my own filth.
Exactly. What more do you want?
That's the
Living the
dream.
dream, Shane. Yeah.
Living the dream. Well, anyway, apart from that depressing statement I've just made, let's get on to the news. Mike, do you want to kick us off with your story?
Yeah, so Oscar Isaac has been touted for playing the Solid Snake for the Metal Gear movie that we've all been waiting for as gamers, and even Cheese as a fake gamer.
Yep.
He's been pretty excited about this.
I've got some questions around this. How much? I mean, I don't know how much. I literally not looked into this at all. I've seen the headline and that's it.
Same.
Do we know like what? Because the Metal Gear Solid story is long. Do we know what story they're looking at making into a film? Like what game? Is it a new, fresh story? Is it going to be about 10 hours long? Because that's like Metal Gear Solid. What is it? 4.
Yeah,
it's basically a movie, isn't it?
Yeah,
this is like a 30-hour long movie.
It's essentially 3 hours of gameplay and then 10 hours of just cutscene after cutscene. That's a glorious cutscene.
Have they released any other details around?
I mean, just going off the look from Oscar Isaac, and I'm imagining that it is Solid Snake. You know, the one we all know from Metal Gear Solid 1.
Mm.
I'm assuming,
earlier in it, as in MGS1, is that what we're expecting?
I'm
like
assuming
that sort
so. Yeah, I mean, it's probably the most popular,
I
part
mean,
of the story, and the one we all kind of know and love, and it makes sense
Also-
to just start there at the beginning.
Yeah, and also it's probably the easiest story to tell. Otherwise, how easily do you tell the story of is it Ocelot being infected by the cut off arm of Liquid Snake
Yeah,
that's managing to control his mind? Like, I feel like even in a film that's going to be difficult to get across.
yeah. So I think the first game in itself tells a pretty cohesive, tight story. So it makes sense to start there, I guess. I know there's a lot of like filler and stuff, but I think Hollywood will just work the magic and make it work.
I mean, and it is Sony making it. So if you take into account Uncharted being right around the corner too, and Oscar Isaac's no joke. I mean, he's a pretty good actor depending on the role they put him in. But that's a lot of star power. I mean, they're gonna milk that, and if it goes well, there's gonna be more than one. There will be.
Yeah, we just got to hope it's a good script, because you can have the best actors in the world. If the script is dog shit, it won't mean anything, will it?
Well, yeah, but if you put an actor that people recognize, then even if it sucks, it's still going to make money, and that's probably a smart
make
move
money.
versus
Like
a great script with an okay actor, then you're going to be like, I didn't see it. I don't know who that guy is.
I think a prime example of that is Suicide Squad, because that was it had some star power behind it, but ultimately it was a pretty wanky film when it came to the actual script.
It wasn't a shit film, but I enjoyed it. Yeah, this is terrible. But I'm enjoying it.
It was terrible, but it was like it's the modern day Street Fighter film.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think Metal Gear will probably hit that kind of the same kind of beats that the Sonic movie hit, where it's everyone's expecting it to be bad, and it'll kind of have its fans and stuff. I think every true blue.
On the note of that,
fan. Go on.
Haven't they just announced that Sonic 2 has started filming or started like production?
Yeah, I heard that too as well. Yeah.
Ultimately, this is kind of how every video game movie goes, from Mortal Kombat and the Mario movie that they did way back when, or even
we don't talk about that film.
Yeah, not in here.
But my point is, even with, I just watched Detective Pikachu this week for the first time, and it wasn't amazing, but it was a lot of fun. And if you're a fan of Pokemon or not Mario, then you're gonna enjoy watching it, even if it's total trash. I mean, it's just like the Warcraft movie was horrible, but there were so many little Easter eggs and stuff in there that somebody who's a fan of that, you're still gonna enjoy it, at least watch it one time.
I would say with Pokemon though, with Detective Pikachu, apart from it being extremely predictable, I thought that was a pretty actually like well scripted, pretty well laid out film.
I mean, it was just back and forth with like him and his daddy issues versus like just showing more Pokemon. That's kind of what I wanted. It's literally the plot of Zootopia too, by the way.
I do love Zootopia as well, to be fair. Maybe that's why I liked it.
Watch Pokemon Detective Pikachu, then watch Zootopia and be like, holy shit, this is the same movie.
I did that before. I watched Avatar, then Pocahontas, and was like, holy fuck. And also another one you just touched on there. They've just announced, they've just confirmed the logo for the new Mortal Kombat film as well, haven't they? I don't know if you guys have seen that.
I didn't.
Yeah,
I saw there was some Mortal Kombat movie news, but I didn't.
Yeah,
read into it.
HBO. Is it Warner Brothers that owns them? HBO Max has confirmed that 2 or 3 of the films that they've got due to come out are going to be going straight to HBO Max, as well. Yeah, it is Warner Brothers, as well as going to the cinema, because there's this new like dual release system, isn't there, where they're releasing them on a streaming service at a stupid price.
Like a COVID-friendly alternative to the cinema.
And I'm sure, and one of those was Mortal Kombat, and they've released like a new Mortal Kombat logo, which I'm very excited about because Mortal Kombat is the ultimate shit film.
Yeah, it looks cool. I'm looking at the logo right now. That is pretty cool.
The last I heard about Mortal Kombat, it got just put on a indefinite hiatus and was kind of shelved. But
it just needs to come back because who doesn't want to see Mortal Kombat?
I know.
Like
I rewatched the original film recently, and it's
the best.
So good, but
so good, but so fucking awful.
Yeah,
just fucking everything about it is trash.
Yeah.
But it's great. I love it so much.
It's the theme tune. The theme tune just hits me in the heart. It's right in the field.
That is one of the best theme tunes ever created. Fact. It's undisputed.
It is pretty
undisputed
glorious.
Fact. And like before, I mean, I don't think we've got him in our list, but when we get into later, Bison is also a hilarious. Oh no, there's Street Fighter. I'm thinking of a completely different thing.
Yeah, Street Fighter is same caliber though. It is the same caliber.
Although I think Street Fighter was worse in that because Mortal Kombat didn't have any particularly like well-known actors.
Yeah.
Did it? It was very much just like, whereas Street Fighter was like, let's cash in on Jean-Claude Van Damme and Kylie Minogue, who are very obviously big at the time.
The two like of the era actors, like.
I mean, was Kylie Minogue ever of any era an actor?
Well, she started off in Neighbours, didn't she? Okay,
my point exactly. Like Jean-Claude Van Damme, I completely understand. He just does a lot of like mediocre fighting films with the odd really good one here or there.
With that classic triple take where it's the same kick. Like
exactly.
Goes, yeah. It's like 3 different cuts of the same kick. So good.
Yeah, 100%. But like Kylie Minogue, apart from being a substandard actress, should I say, on Neighbours, like has she been in anything else of any real relevance?
I don't know. I mean, you can't. You peak at Street Fighter, basically, don't you? So.
Well, to be fair, I think she peaks at that music video where they had to sellotape her top to her breasts. You know the one, the white top that's opens like a.
We all know the one.
Weird, yeah. We all know that one. Like it was like really shocking at the time because everyone was like, "No one's ever had a top that you have to stick to your breasts."
Groundbreaking. Anyway, moving on. Should we?
Yeah, moving on. Next story, Chase. It's your story, mate.
Yeah, I got 2 little ones here. On Twitter the other day, Jack Black was trending. Apparently it was his birthday, but then fans were calling for Jack Black to be in the Marvel comic universe, the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And they were saying that he would have been the perfect Star-Lord. And at first I was like, I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy was good as it is, but then you start to think about it, Jack Black would have been an awesome Star-Lord.
Yeah.
He's a little bit older, but I mean,
I don't know
can't
if I'd
help
want him
but
as
agree.
Star-Lord.
Really?
I can't help but agree with that.
I don't know if I'd want him as Star-Lord, but I am 100% for Jack Black in as much as possible of anything, because I love Jack Black. I think he's hilarious and he is so talented.
He seems like he would fit well in like the Thor universe, especially since after Ragnarok, he kind of shifted gears from
they
Thor
took a
being
more
this dumb
comedy
brute to
turn.
being more of like a Guardians of the Galaxy feel, a more fun, jokey
Yeah.
comedy.
I think Guardians of the Galaxy Thor are crossing over, aren't they, in the future? So I think that world would be perfect for.
Yeah, the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is. I think a lot of the ideas are being taken from like the short comic run of as Guardians of the Galaxy, which is like Thor and the Guardians together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of going to be where that sort of goes. But then we've also got Love and Thunder, and we don't really know where that's going to go either with regards to Thor's character. But that does look good.
Who knows?
But yeah, Jack Black in everything and anything. And I was actually thinking about this the other day, not specifically about Jack Black being in films, but I was just thinking about Jack Black, as you do. Just wake up and go, oh, Jack Black. And I was thinking about the game Brutal Legend and how I want that again, but like better. I want a good company to remake Brutal Legend and bring it to PS5.
Are we talking about Brutal Legends 2? Right,
I mean, is there... I mean, there could or should be a Brutal Legend 2. Is there Brutal Legend 2?
There definitely could be.
I mean, there should be.
There should be.
I thought I saw something about that like a couple months ago. I don't know if they were working on it or if they were just discussing that game, but that was definitely in the news not too long ago.
Well, it's out
Give me hope.
It's out on Game.
That's all I know.
I'm
out on Game Pass,
searching now.
At the very least, if Jack Black didn't end up as an actor, to let him do the score or like the music for a movie like the new Thor movie would be awesome too, or even Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, the dude's clearly very talented. It would add a lighthearted but like legitimate music element to it that would be really like a lot of fun to listen to.
Yeah. No,
Currently, it's still possible, but there are currently no plans. Yeah, and that's from 2019. It's still possible, but there are no plans. But I just want a game where it has Jack Black in it, and I just want Brutal Legend 2.
You can play him
PS5.
as but you can be him in a Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remaster. He's the security guard you can unlock.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I didn't unlock it because I rented that game and sent it back. But
I believe his name is Officer Dick. I think
As I say,
that's correct.
Jack Black should just be in everything. I want to see Jack Black in God of War 2. I want to see him in the next Spider-Man. I want him everywhere.
How about seeing him in Fortnite, like my next story, Kratos and Master Chief in Fortnite? How about that segue?
Before you go into that, you know how like Stan Lee is in every Marvel?
I was just going to say this, Shane.
I want Jack Black as like a small cameo in every single game. Just Jack Black fucking everywhere.
Jack Black, Grunt, and Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
That'd be
great.
perfect.
But yeah, go on to your story of Fortnite.
So my second story is about Fortnite, which I know a lot of people are sick of Fortnite, but I think this is a very interesting thing that's happening. So this season, which I think is season 5, is based around bounty hunters. So when you get the battle pass, you get the Mandalorian. And then last week, it was rumored that Kratos and Master Chief would end up in the game. And then I think on Thursday or Wednesday, Kratos actually was in the shop to be purchased. And he comes with a cool little Mimir back bling, which was awesome. Master Chief, I don't think has been released yet. But
I mean,
say what you want about Fortnite, but the fact that they're even getting the licensing to all this stuff is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, but don't forget they've got like more money than you can possibly imagine.
True.
Also,
and that's
Fortnite is just turning into this like a marketing platform.
Yep.
Where like, you know, this musicians been playing like live gigs and shit on there, and I think we'll just see more and more of this, and Fortnite will never disappear.
Well, this is the thing, like because it being a marketing platform, I don't think Epic would necessarily have to pay a lot to get like Kratos in the game, for example.
No, I don't.
Because they're from an advertising point of view, it's going to benefit.
It's like mutually beneficial in a way, isn't it?
Yeah,
Both
exactly.
sides, so.
So just
Kind
to,
of.
just to put it out there, as of this year, 6th of August, Epic Games is valued at 17.3 billion.
Jeez.
After Epic has said the deal included a 250 million strategic investment from Sony, which it announced in August of this year.
Oh, Sony has a partnership with Epic? I didn't know that. That makes more sense for Kratos
There's
and
some sort of deal that involves them being involved, yeah. It doesn't go into detail.
That changes things a little bit then in my head because, I mean, you got Sony Records, you have all the gaming stuff. So that makes a little more sense, I suppose.
Mhm.
But the fact that they're in bed with Sony and Disney and all these other people is kind of amazing.
Yeah, and it makes sense seeing as they've got the Unreal Engine, haven't they, as well? And that's something that Sony's very much going to want to get
Yeah.
their
I have
toe
some
involved
numbers.
in.
In terms of actual players, I know you talked about the monetary value, which I didn't even think to look up, but they, as of May 2020, they had 350 million registered accounts for Fortnite, given 116 million were iOS. So that's a pretty huge loss for them. But I think bringing in people like Kratos is interesting because people like me who have recently played God of War, I would 1000% buy Kratos as an in-game character if I had the V-Bucks.
Do you still
And
play Fortnite?
I played it for the first time last week, for the first time in like maybe a year and a half. So we'll get to that with what I've been playing. But if people didn't know who Kratos was, I don't know if they would be inclined to be like, oh, he's from God of War and I should play that game. So I don't know if it's more of the audience that has already played the game and knows who Kratos is, so they want him, or if it's kind of a dual marketing strategy. Like, oh, maybe people would be interested in this game again, or maybe interested in Ragnarok or whatever when it comes out.
Just interesting side note on that. Like, I don't know if any of you noticed that Fortnite cropped up on like the PlayStation crossbar. Like sometimes it'll throw up.
It like automatically installed.
Yeah,
It was fucking weird.
yeah. It's like, what the fuck? Not you two. Get off.
Yeah, so I noticed this the other day, and I was going to mention this actually. When season is it 5 that they're on went live?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The day it went live, there was a PlayStation update, and out of nowhere, it fully installed Fortnite onto the PlayStation crossbar.
See, I didn't
But
realize
it's like
it was
it's
fully installed, but I just saw
Yeah, it
it
was
as like,
weird.
like an advert almost.
No, because
because it
you could
pops up
literally
with
click on it
sales
to.
sometimes when
Yeah,
when
no,
the
you
sale
could, 'cause
changes.
I was like, what the fuck's this? So I clicked on it to delete it, and you could delete it like a game.
Yeah.
I was like, what? So it just fully installed Fortnite. Like season 5, it's here. Come play it. And it's like, all right, Sony, fuck off.
Yeah,
That's weird.
That was like
I'll download it if I want to download it, motherfucker.
Yeah, 'cause
I'm powering my PS5 right now. Sorry, Mike. Powering my PS5 right now to see if it's there.
No, it's not on PS. It didn't do it on PS5.
Oh,
It only did it on PlayStation 4. It didn't do
Is
it
it
on
even
PS5.
is it even on PS5? I
Yeah,
assume.
I think it's just the standard PS4 version on PS. I don't think there's an upgraded version. So
Oh.
you can play it on PS5, but yeah, the PS4 it like auto installed a version, or I don't know if it was the full game or if it was like Mike said, like it was more of an advertisement. And once you clicked on
I
it,
think you could click it to start it, but I think it would start the download for it.
like it had installed just enough so you could start playing the game, but then it did the
Yeah,
rest
maybe,
in the
yeah.
background if you clicked it. But either way, it was fucking weird.
Yeah. Because I
Just
got
on the
home
back of those.
and, Ellie was sat with like a PlayStation on it. I was like, "Why have you been playing Fortnite?" And she was like, no." like it's some kind of dirty secret, but.
But that's the thing as well, because it put it right at the front of your
Yeah,
crossbar
yeah,
as if it had
yeah.
been played recently.
Yeah, so I was like, "What?" And then I turned mine on, and it was there as well. I was like, "No, just no."
So just a little bit on those figures that I mentioned. The 250 million investment that Sony gave gives them a 1.4% interest in game development in the game development studio. So they've got a 1.4% interest in Epic. also, there's some other figures on this article that were quite interesting. So this is an article from The Verge, back from August, that says that the other notable outside investor is Tencent, who invested 330 million back in 2012 and have a 40% stake in the company.
Oh wow!
And that in April of 2020, just in April, not for the year, just in April, Fortnite had earned $400 million in revenue.
Jeez.
It's not.
That's a lot.
Just in April. That's not for the full year figure. That's just 1 month. They earned $400 million.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like the biggest game right now, and it will be for a long time, I think.
Yeah, we spoke about it on this podcast before. It has the perfect setup for, whether we like it or not, to unfortunately hook a lot of young children. Excuse me, I had to burp them. It's got the perfect setup for streamers. It's built in a way so that those that are older that stream games can do it and get a lot from it, and those that are younger that just want to play a quick game get obsessed with it. So it's like this weird, perfect middle ground.
Very accessible for like new players, casual players, or like pro level players. You know, it's kind of caters for all skill levels and stuff as well. So.
Well, and you can play with people, which is awesome. I mean, I used to play with a couple of my friends every single night when Fortnite was really big and we actually still cared. I mean, it's just a good social game. Even if you suck like I do, then I still enjoy it, even though I die way too early.
Yeah, I kind of got tired of the Battle Royale scene, but I've had fun on Fortnite, and you know, I'm sure if I was to install it again, I probably would again.
You don't get as much grief as a quick story from yesterday, like I do on Rainbow Six Siege, for example. So we've never spoke about this on the podcast, but Mike, I don't think you know of this, but Mike definitely does. Months and months ago, I was playing a game of Rainbow. I had a particularly bad game, and the reply that there was a message sent not to me, but to one of my friends who I've known for like 30 odd years. He's one of my closest friends. He got a message that just said, "Sub is horrible." And that's why my name and one of our Discords became Sub is Horrible.
See, I thought that was Destiny, but it was Siege, and that's
no. I'm pretty sure it was Rainbow, and yeah, it was just one of those days. You know, sometimes you just have a shit game.
Oh yeah.
Like sometimes you have great games, other times you have fucking awful games.
Or you always have awful games, and sometimes have the occasional great game.
Yeah, I think I'm probably like 70-30. 30% good games to 70% shit games.
I think I'm 99 shit games to 1% okay games.
But yeah, yesterday. So this week, the Rainbow Six has had its PS5 upgrade version come out, which you have to download separately. So we've downloaded it all, and me, Matt, and Max were having a little play of it yesterday, and just wanted to test it out. Now, my friends are very much about, if you're going to play Rainbow and if you're going to learn to get better, you only ever play ranked. There is no point in playing anything but ranked. So that's what I do. I only play ranked. So we're playing ranked, and I picked Fuse. I fucked up because I forgot that when the game re-downloaded, it reset all my characters, and I had Shield on Fuse instead of the AK, which really pisses me off. But anyway, amateur. I was like, fuck's sake. So anyway, I went upstairs. I found this window. I went through the window. I jumped through, and there was no traps or anything, but there was a fucking sneaky cunt lying on the floor with a shotgun. One hit, one kill. I'm dead. I wasn't really paying attention to what happened after that, because I was like, oh, I'm dead. I'm just going to talk to Max and Matt, because they were in separate games because the system has been shit yesterday. So I was chatting to them, and then I suddenly get this message come through from somebody who said, "I died because of you. Get off this game, dumbass." And I was just like, what? Like, I died because I went for a window. That's my own fault. Like, don't put your fucking your death on me. Like, if I fucking shot you, that's on me. I killed you. But if I go through a window and I die, and then you immediately follow me through that window and also die, that's on you. But anyway, I didn't like rile with him. I just sent him a message back saying, "Yeah, like whatever's, mate. I'm just, I'm gonna play." And then he messaged me again and was like, and said something. I can't remember exactly what he said, but he got really fucking not really leery at me, but he didn't like what I was saying to him. Basically, I basically
him.
I fucking wish I did. No, he said, I've got it here actually. So, yeah, he said, "You got me killed. Stop playing this game, dumbass." I said, "Oh no," I just replied with, "Nah, you're right, mate." Yeah, as you do.
Like,
So
what does that guy gain from sending that message? Like, you're never going to meet him again in another match.
He gains a story and a podcast that he'll never listen to.
Exactly.
I guess. You should add him as a friend.
Yeah, mate. I mean, he messaged me, so I've got him on the PlayStation. I can message him and be like, "You're in our podcast, mate." So he replied with 1 kill, XD, copper player. To which I was like, "Yeah, I have had 1 kill. I mean, I'm not a copper player because I haven't got placement yet. And actually, last season I was silver, so fuck off." But what I did say was, "Yeah, I know I'm shit.
Yeah, if you
only get better."
Fuck off, mate.
Yeah, fuck off, mate. But yeah, I replied with, "Yeah, I know I'm shit, but you only get better by playing the game." To which he replied with, "Are you being for real?" So I just sent him 4 laughing faces.
Here for a good time, not a long time.
Exactly. To which he ended it with, "Play casual to get better." But I'm told by my friends that I'm not allowed to play casual and that you only get better by playing ranked. So, we went on to lose that game, obviously. No, actually, we went on to win that game. He was the second highest player. I still only had 1 kill. But the point was we won. So, clearly he can go fuck himself. Anyway, point being, ladies and gentlemen, anyone listening, don't be a prick in games. If people aren't better than you or aren't as good as you, be constructive and helpful. Don't just tell them to fuck off, because it doesn't help anyone. It doesn't help them get better, and it doesn't make them want to quit the game. It just makes them fucking find you funny and pathetic.
Yeah, I was just going to say, on the other hand, I do find rage mail really funny. And it's kind of like, if you kill someone and then you get rage mail from them, it's like a little badge of honor. But yeah,
Mike, you're totally the one that sends the rage mail, aren't you?
I mean, I have in the past. I have been a toxic player.
I genuinely think, like, when people send me rage mail to tell me to get off the game, it makes me want to play that game more to annoy them.
Yeah.
But like, if somebody messaged me and just went, "Look, mate, like, I can see you're struggling. Like, maybe you should consider this, this, and this," I'll be like, "All right, fair enough. Like, you're being constructive, you're being helpful, you're being positive. If you're just going to come at me with fucking get off the game, you dumbass, I'm just going to continue to be shit in your presence."
I feel like you've been holding this in for a long time, because we strayed a long way from Kratos and Fortnite.
It fucking annoyed me. And I've never sent hate mail to anyone, but I was once involved in a hate mail sending. And this was about 2 or 3 years ago. And you guys, I know Mike doesn't play sports games. Do you play any sports games, Cheese?
Yeah, that's why I'm a shit gamer, because all I did for 20 years was play sport games.
So I'm quite a big NHL player. And a friend of mine, he fucking loves it. And we were up, it was like 2 a.m, and we were trying to play an online NHL game together. And we kept matching with this team who kept quitting out. And it's match, quit out, match, quit. Like, before the game would start, they'd quit out because they had 4 or 5 players and we only had 2. And they didn't want to play a team that had less players than them. So eventually he just messaged them and was like, "Can you stop quitting out? It's fucking annoying. I just want to play the game." And they were like, "Oh yeah, but you've got less players than us." I was like, "Well then fucking set the game so that it only searches for games with the same amount of players as you pricks. Stop wasting our time."
So what you should have done
Anyway.
there, Shade, has been really constructive and just suggested maybe a different
I mean,
option.
yeah, that was constructive. The construction there was fucking pick them, because you have an option in the options to select only find games with the same amount of players as you. It is in the fucking options.
Shade's had a hard week, everyone. Shade's had a hard week.
I've had a hard week. I apologize.
We need to change it to triple X PhD, where you talk to a doctor.
Yeah, the P stands for pissed off.
Every week the P stands for something new.
Psychological damage.
So
Should we move on to the next news story then?
yeah, I think we should.
It hasn't been an hour and a half yet.
So
Just an hour and a
my,
half of Shane bedding.
me getting angry.
Welcome to Triple XP, everyone.
This is the one. My news story is it's not a huge story, but Dragon Age 4 has been teased to be at the Game Awards. I don't know if you guys have seen this.
Yeah. Well, no, I haven't, but I'm kind of expecting kind of big releases now to be like the new, like Game Awards is the new E3 basically, and I think big game announcements and stuff like that will be there from now on.
Firstly, have you seen the presenters for the Game Awards this year?
Yeah, it's like Gal Gadot and
Brie Larson. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, what the hell? Like, there's some
Clearly,
big names. Like,
there's some huge names.
they've really upped the budget on the presenters this year.
Yeah, I mean, last year they had. I don't think they had anyone particularly big for presenting it, but they had Vin Diesel show up and the Fast and Furious. I think it was what's her name? The woman, Michelle Rodriguez. Is that her name?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they had them to show up to show off that Fast and Furious game. Why you would go on stage and associate yourself with that game,
Awesome.
I don't know. But yeah, to have Brie Larson and Gal Gadot like hosting the show is fucking mental.
Actual superheroes.
And it does, like, as you say, it's potentially like the new E3, and that kind of solidifies it. If you're having names that are that big, because they're not small names. Like, I mean, they're MCU and DC big boys at the moment.
Yeah.
They're core players.
Jeff Keighley's like really cemented himself as like the fucking king of games, and he's
he really has.
There, like shaking hands with Kojima and shit.
He's just I mean, he's like this. Like, we talk a lot about how negative, obviously, coronavirus and 2020's been, but it has had its positives. And for him, like for Jeff Keighley, COVID couldn't have done more for his career.
Yeah,
he has really sort of solidified himself within the digital games market and digital marketing this year. To just everything's got. It's almost like a games company now. It's gone. We want to release our new game. Okay, right. We need to run it through Jeff first.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like how it feels right now.
And Jeff's just like,
run it through Jeff.
Okay, put me in the game, and then you can announce it at the Game Awards.
You can announce it, but I want to announce it first from my house.
Yeah.
I want a little speech about it, and then you can do your bit. But no, I think this is pretty cool. I don't know. Are you guys Dragon Age fans?
Never played.
I've played a few, but I've really enjoyed them, but I've never like finished them. I know that's like my fucking thing, but
that is your thing. What one have you played, or what ones have you played?
I think I played the first one.
First one was so good, man.
I remember playing the demo of the second one and not quite gelling with it, and then I played Inquisition as well, which is the third one, right?
Yep.
So I played them all.
So the first one, I think you would absolutely adore.
Yeah, I mean, I really got into
Origins.
Yeah, Origins, the first one. I just remember dying a lot. And
yeah, it was tough.
Yeah, it was
but
quite
it
hard.
had that like
kind of. I just drifted away, but I did enjoy what I played.
It had a really good like that. Obviously, it's that sort of Skyrim, Lord of the Rings fantasy setting.
Yeah.
And
with a
Origins,
Mass Effect sort of thrown in there with the world building and stuff.
Yeah, a little bit, and like so, Origins focused on what in the lore is the Grey Wardens.
Yeah,
and the Grey Wardens, from what I can remember, are kind of like I mean, a bit like Mass Effect. They're they're not a secret force per se, but they're like a force that is there to keep the balance and make sure shit isn't going wrong in the world.
Yeah.
And they deal with like mystical threats as well as like other non-mystical threats, but they're kind of like the world police force, if you will.
Yeah, Ghostbusters kind of with swords, basically, aren't they?
Yeah, and like you get to become a Grey Warden, and that Origins game was fantastic.
Yeah.
2, I didn't get on with at all. I really struggled with 2. Didn't play much of it at all.
Yeah,
And then
I didn't.
3, I enjoyed 3, but it was fucking long. And I got to a point I just went, I can't be arsed with this anymore. I just stopped.
Yeah,
I got like 30 hours in and went,
yeah, shiny
feels
new
like
game.
effort. Feels like so much effort.
So should we move on to what we've been playing this week?
Yes.
Or have we got?
Yeah,
have we got any more notes on Dragon Age or Game Awards or?
No. I think we're all good. So I mean, as per tradition, Cheese, do you want to start us off as the guest of the week with what you've been playing? What information you want to bring our way?
So I started and finished my first playthrough of any God of War game. I played the newest one, which is God of War 9 technically, but came out in 2018, I believe, and I absolutely loved it, start to finish. Everything about it was amazing.
Yeah, I was gutted I missed you playing the end of this because I watched like a good chunk of you playing through this, and it was kind of nice to see someone with like fresh eyes on it.
It was one of those games where I started it on stream, but then I found myself like I needed more. So like I would turn off the stream and go eat some dinner and come back and play for like another 5 hours off stream.
Yeah.
So it was one of those games that I really, really enjoyed. But at the same time, I didn't feel like I needed to stream because when I was streaming, I wasn't paying enough attention to the storyline. So to finish the game, I thought it was important to just focus and soak it all in. And I think I was sending you Snapchats as things were happening. I was like, it was just a brilliant game. I loved it. Yeah. Now I'm on to Ghost of Tsushima. I'm like 2 days into that, meaning, I mean, I've played it twice. So like maybe, I don't know, 6 or 7 hours total. I hope to pick that back up again today. And then throughout the week, I've sprinkled in some Tetris Effect, Golf with Your Friends, and dare I say, Fortnite. One of my buddies texted me and was like, he just built a PC, and with the new season, he's like, yeah, I'm going to download this again if you want to.
When you say one of your buddies, is that your twin brother?
No, he just built a PC too, but I refer to him as my enemy. No, he's not my friend.
Just before you continue the story, I love the fact that one of your friends has built a PC, and the first game of all of the games out there to highlight how good their PC is, like all of the incredibly graphically like enchanting games you've got, they've gone, I'm going to play a bit of Fortnite.
Okay, no. So it's not his first game on PC. He's a big Call of Duty player, and Fortnite is like the shitty gamers version of Modern Warfare. I can't play Call of Duty anymore because I never committed to it, and I'm not good enough to do it. So Fortnite is like where all the kids can play while the parents play Call of Duty, and I'm allowed to play Fortnite. So we played a couple of games. We lost the first one. We actually won the second game in duos. I think I had 7 kills, and I think he did too. And I actually got the final 2 kills. So that was exciting, but I can't confirm that every player in the game besides us weren't bots. They probably were. But it's quite a bit of fun, truthfully. I mean, I don't think I could go back to having it be in my regular rotation, but to dig that up after that long of a break, it was kind of a refreshing change because I've kind of distanced myself from online multiplayer, especially battle royale games, because there's just too many good games out there to spend more time with, like God of War and Ghost and all these other games. So I've kind of changed my ways from sport
too many games. Battle royales, to be fair, in general.
Yep. I mean, we talked about just a little bit ago. I used to play a lot of sport games. I mean, I played hundreds of hours into stupid games like 2K and Madden and FIFA and NHL. I love all of those games, but what's the point of playing a My Career that soaks up like 200 hours worth of play when it's the same thing every time and you're just wasting your own time? So I've kind of shifted from that. Golf with Your Friends, a couple of my PC friends downloaded that too, and that's a lot of fun. Just a nice little hangout. It's not too stressful. It's kind of a rage game, but it's a lot of fun. And Tetris Effect is one of those games where I just, like last night, nobody else was doing anything, so I played that game.
Tetris.
Played it by myself, had a drink, and it was just good fun.
Tetris Effect is one of those games you just have to buckle in and just fucking enjoy the ride on your own and just go through this crazy
I still need to get it because it's VR functional, isn't it, as well?
Yeah.
Tetris in VR sounds like the dream.
I rented it, but it's just like even just playing it non VR was just like this super.
Yeah, I've heard it's incredible.
Amazing music and every move or motion you make in the game like affects the sound and song and.
Mate, I did because I played a lot of Tetris 99. When it first came out, I got a bit obsessed with that. Got myself to 6th place. I've never got any further.
Yeah, but I got to 6th and then never played it again. I was like, I'm retiring almost on top.
Which almost. But just on God of War, because it's an incredible game, and I'm glad that you've had the opportunity to experience that. Did you do it as part of the PlayStation Plus collection?
Yes.
Is that how the reason? So it's pleasing to see that people like yourself who haven't played those games before have had an opportunity to experience such an incredibly good game.
Yeah, absolutely.
I saw a tweet earlier that really made me chuckle, and so Corey Barlog, I don't know if you guys are aware, he has a habit of whenever there's a Kratos mention on Twitter, he just replies with "never heard of him" or "never heard of it."
Yeah.
And someone put in there that in God of War 2, there should be a point where there's a line of dialogue in which is it what's the kid's name? Atreus, where Atreus says something.
That's
like,
never ending story.
Yeah, that is never ending story. It's the horse, isn't it?
Yeah.
Atreus.
Oh God, no! Pour some more wine to deal with that.
No one refuses to watch that film because the fucking really slow-headed turtle creature freaks her out. She does, like, even the song freaks her out. Like, I will go up to bed and be like, "Never-ending story." And she'll be like, please stop. Anyway,
for some reason, I just imagine you're like windmilling at the same time as singing that.
Never-ending story. She really, really dislikes the most recent season of Stranger Things because of that exact thing. But,
oh, amazing.
But someone put in there, like, there should be a scene where Atreus says something to Kratos that's along the lines of like, like, can you tell me about Sparta? And he just replies with, "No, never heard of it."
Yeah, that'd be so good. Yeah,
so good. It's just something like really obvious. Someone was even saying like a point where he says like, "Oh, I'm from Sparta," and when he replies with, "Can you tell me about Sparta?" he then replies with, "Never heard of it." just to make it like really obvious.
Super fourth wall breaking, like.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm just bummed that I didn't play it before. I love mythology. This game easily goes to the very top of my best games ever played list. It's tied with Spider-Man. I absolutely love Spider-Man, and I loved that game, and Miles Morales. But man, this game start to finish the story was good. The combat was a little tricky. It took me a little bit to get the hang of it, but once I did, I mean, it wasn't incredibly difficult. There were times where I died a few times, but it's a lot of fun, and there's replayability to it too, which is great. But
the thing with the combat in that game, though, is, like you say, it's not incredibly difficult, but doesn't it just feel incredibly heavy in like the right way?
Yes,
there's every a lot swing feels like you're swinging an axe.
There's a lot of weight for everything you do.
Yeah, there's a lot of like you have to learn your new skills basically because they will help you out, especially as you go from fighting one thing to fighting 7 at the same time. Well, your new abilities and your new weapons and stuff really make it easier. So you have to use them. You can't just kind of sit back and not upgrade stuff. That's a necessity, which was fun. It was a bit of a challenge for me because I'm not used to games like that, but
so
I think I did well.
You've not played any of the previous God of War games. Did you do what I suggested and just Google kind of the loose story elements, or have you just gone into that completely blind?
Completely blind. I could tell some of the things that were happening were definitely callbacks.
Yeah.
With his father and with his other weapons and all that stuff.
Yeah, there's a few moments that are like really impactful if you know what happened previously.
They did a good job. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say exactly what I think you're about to say, in that I think they did a good job in that even if you haven't played the previous ones, you can the way he talks about his past, you can tell that it's a past that wasn't particularly pleasant.
Yes.
So even if you don't know, you can go, it sounds like his past was a bit shitty. Like I can see why he's a bit grumpy and a little bit like passive aggressive towards everyone he meets, / full on aggressive towards everyone he meets.
Yeah, they make these big cinematic moments where you know it's a callback, like when you're in hell and they're like, "Oh, is that your father?" And then like when he goes back to his house and he gets his old sling blade things. I mean, they make it a point to be like, yes, you should know what this is if you played it before, and if not, then you should know that this is an important part of his backstory.
Yeah.
I think the big thing is, I spoke about this on a previous episode, when we were talking about our favorite moments. I think it was actually at your like you were getting married at the time when we recorded this one.
It was just like
the
round table.
Yeah, and if you know the previous games, then you know that for a lot of the beginning of the game, he's very much holding back his abilities.
Yeah,
and it's me and Mike discussed this with Mike being a father himself. Like it's almost like he doesn't want to show just how fucking violent he is to his son. Like he's trying to hide.
You make that
just
sound like
how-
I'm a really violent dad.
No, but you know, there's
With
like
my
parts
being
of
a
your
father, we talked about him holding
No,
back.
but the point being, there's like parts of your personality that you don't necessarily want to pass on to your child.
I mean, yeah, probably, yeah.
Well,
And
he was
there's
hiding he was hiding the whole fact that he's a god in the first place.
Yeah, he was hiding
yeah.
that, but like when you see how just absolutely aggressively violent he is in the previous games, when you know that, and then he starts off and you're like, well, he's aggressive, but this isn't the Kratos I know. And it's very much, you can tell that he's very much subdued and trying to hide his abilities. And then as the game goes on, especially when he gets his chain blades back, all of a sudden it's almost like you're playing a different Kratos who suddenly is like, I have to unleash my abilities because my son's life is in danger now. And it's at a point where if I don't unleash my full abilities, there's going to be some serious repercussions.
That kid in the entire game was a little shit too. But at the same time, I think he's a dumb little shit because if I saw my father pick up a fucking boat, I'd be like, oh man, he's just not a normal dude, right? Like he's picking up full trees and just carrying them on his shoulder. And the kid's like, oh, wow, you're strong. I'm like, what is your issue?
It's just like, yeah, my dad works out.
No, but have you never had that conversation as a kid where it's like, oh yeah, well my dad can fucking lift a tree out of the ground, mate. What can your dad do?
Yeah.
No, because my dad couldn't do anything like that.
My dad had knocked your dad out.
Oh, my dad carried in all the groceries in one trip. What did your dad do?
Maybe it's a British thing, Mike. Because there's when you're in school, there is very much a thing like where you get in an argument with someone at school and they're like, yeah, well, you know, my dad can knock your dad out in one punch, and you're like, well, my dad can pick up a lorry.
Yeah,
we did that too. Or like the snobby rich kids, oh, my daddy owned your daddy, and it's just like, oh,
my dad worked at Nintendo.
But the difference being
your dad worked for my dad. Yeah.
The difference being there is that that's all tied to money, whereas we're in England, it's always like my dad's the hardest motherfucker in the room. Even if he isn't.
Well, my dad's the actual god of war, mate.
Mike, should we leave yours till last? Because you're covering some fairly new, not necessarily new stuff, but stuff that's come out recently for the
I'm happy to
PlayStation Plus and that. Well, I mean, mine's pretty quick to be fair. I finished Demon's Souls this week
on your PS5.
On the PS5, yeah. I'll be honest, I enjoyed Demon's Souls a lot.
Not better at all.
Not at all, are you?
No.
I've briefly spoke about this to some of our friends. I prefer Bloodborne to Demon's Souls just because, for me, I prefer the setting of Bloodborne. I prefer the aesthetics of Bloodborne. I just think it's a cooler setting. I think the bosses and the boss design in Bloodborne is cooler. But I did enjoy my time with Demon's Souls. I did. It's an interesting one because it's kind of like I see it as cheesing, but I've spoken to a lot of people and a lot of people don't see it as cheesing. And actually, like the thing with because Mike, you've played Bloodborne, haven't you? Have you played the Demon's Souls?
I've played all apart from Demon's Souls.
And have you played them Cheese.
No.
So
I tried
No, you
Bloodborne,
play
and then
Bloodborne.
I tried Bloodborne, and then I started drinking heavily.
reasonable. So
Because
Demon
of
Souls,
Bloodborne.
Mike,
Yes.
is a lot more like Dark Souls in that it gives you a lot more. From what I've been told about Dark Souls, anyways, it gives you a lot more options as to how you want to play. So, like Bloodborne is very, very, very melee. Like there is no other option really. It doesn't give you the options to use other weapons apart from melee weapons. Whereas Demon Souls is like, well, yeah, you can have a sword and you've got all these melee weapons, but actually, if you want to use a bow, here's a bow. If you want to use magic, here's magic. If you want to use a crossbow, here's a crossbow. So it gives you a lot more options around what you want to do. And I was saying to some of our friends recently that out of, or is it something like 13 or 14 bosses, I didn't keep count, 7 or 8 of them I killed with just the bow from positions in which I could take minimal damage. So on one hand, I could see why people would say, well, that's cheesing. You're like playing the game in a way that the game's not meant to be played. But on the other hand, if they're going to build the levels in a way that allows me to hide behind things and fire arrows at things from a distance, technically I'm playing it just as well as anyone else.
I agree with you. And that's such... Man, this whole gaming purist thing is such a toxic thing in the gaming community. Like I told Mike before the start of the show, I'm one of the worst people to have on this podcast because I'm a casual gamer. I can play stuff like God of War and Spider-Man and whatever, but like I'm not capable of Bloodborne. I probably could if I tried, but I also don't want to. And if I enjoy Lego Star Wars just as much as you might enjoy Bloodborne or somebody enjoys the Pokemon games, whatever.
And still struggle as much.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the thing is though, Cheese, like, and I'm sure Mike will back me up here. I'm a casual gamer. I'm not a particularly good gamer. There's very few games that I excel in, but sometimes if I get into something, like I got into Bloodborne, I quite enjoyed it, and actually I did alright on it.
Yeah, but
I'm not.
You started at Bloodborne, and then you went back to Demon Souls, which I know it's the newest game, but it is the first in that series. So like,
and you can tell. It's the first. So like Bloodborne's more fluid in its combat, better laid out, in my opinion, and they've clearly worked to fix those, like I say, cheesy issues that aren't really cheesing. They've fixed those issues by saying, well, actually, no, we're not going to let you do it that way.
Yeah.
I'm offended by that term. Cheesing.
I bet you are.
I just want it to be known.
There's one boss, for example, where there's a boss that's a spider, and there's like a strung up upside down body hanging from the ceiling, and you can literally stand behind that body, pop out, fire a few arrows, stand behind that body. Again, if they didn't want me to use that body as cover, why would they put that body in there? Like that is a choice that the developers have made to put that body in there.
But then that seems like quite a prevalent thing, because I've seen a streamer do that where he's like, right, okay, I'll just fire 1-2 shots of my magic or whatever it was, and then pop back in like behind cover, and then pop out, fire 2, and then there was like a rhythm to it. But it does seem
and this
like
is the thing.
It's very simple in its design, but it's Demon Souls was that core idea of being a hard ass game, but they just didn't refine it. And then when it gets to like Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne and Sekiro, they've really refined it.
And this is the thing, like,
go ahead.
No, after you, Chase, after you.
I don't. My issue is like, why does it matter? Like, if I played God of War on God of War mode, or if I played it on the Take It Easy mode, like, I'm playing the game to be immersed into the story and to enjoy it. I'm not there to rage at the combat that I suck at. Like,
I'm
yeah,
totally
no,
with
definitely.
you there. Like,
you're playing games for the experience, not like, oh, there's a right way to do it. No, that's not the point. If that was the point, nobody would play. Well, not nobody. 99% of gamers wouldn't play games because that's ridiculous.
Yeah, you play for the experience and the fun, don't you?
Exactly.
And difficulty levels shouldn't come into it. And
I look at like a lot of the games I play, I try to immerse myself in the world, and the gaming industry is kind of trying to force you to do this now anyway, where it's like you make decisions based on, well, what would I do in this situation? If this was me, if I am this character in this world living this life, how would I go about this situation? I 100% would be hiding behind that body, because I'm a fucking pussy. And if I can do it from a distance without the motherfucking hitting me, I'm going to do that.
I would have
So-
died in the prologue.
I mean, yeah, definitely that. But no, I mean, I enjoyed it a lot. It's a beautiful game. It plays really well. It's really smooth. Obviously, like I say, they haven't fixed any of the not bugs because there's no bugs or anything. It's smooth as anything. But obviously, a lot of the areas that they like a lot of the cheeses or particular ways of playing that they had in the previous game, they've not taken out. It is literally a pure copy of the previous game, from what I've been told. But no, I enjoyed it. The final boss was a piece of piss, to be honest. It was probably one of the easiest bosses. Like, a friend of mine was like, "Yeah, no, the final boss is really hard," and I'm like, "Is it? Did it first time, mate?" Like,
Because you
right.
cheated. No, I'm just kidding.
No, the final boss you can't even cheese. I had to actually fucking fight him personally, and it's annoying because he drains your level. Like, he's got a move that drains some of your level. Luckily, I was like level 96, and he only drained me to 88, which is still quite high. But yeah, I mean, I've now completed that. Sent that back to Boomerang. Shout out to Boomerang. Great setup, great service as always.
The boys.
I also completed Spider-Man this week. Miles Morales. Yeah, it was alright.
It was all right. Is that what you said? It was just
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, it was alright. Yeah, I mean,
Should we move on
no.
to your main topic, Shane? Of
my my thing is with Spider-Man is I enjoyed it a lot.
But
I think Miles was built really, really fucking well. Like, I actually preferred Miles to Peter in the first game. I thought that because where he was young and he was learning to be Spider-Man, that was much more relatable to the already fully established Spider-Man that Peter was. So I really enjoyed his character. The storyline was very predictable, extremely predictable. And I was like, the story didn't grip me enough for me to go back to it. In fact, to the point that
I agree with that, actually. I mean, from the very beginning, I was like, this is going to happen, isn't it? And then it happens, and you're like, well, that's the game.
exactly. And like, it was to the point that I played like 4 or 5 hours of Spider-Man, and then I'd put it down and completed the entirety of Demon Souls before I even went back to it, because there was nothing about that story that gripped me enough to go, I want to go back to that like immediately. I didn't do any of the side stuff. I did the side stuff that like was there, but I didn't do any of like the strongholds and shit, because I'm very much one of these people that's like, you can have too much of a good thing. And I know me, and I know if I went in, because I did this on the first Spider-Man and it pissed me off. I know that if I went and did all the strongholds and all of the finding the tech and all that bullshit, it would sour the game for me, because by the end of it, I'd just be like, I'm just not enjoying this anymore. I'm just doing it for the sake of doing it. So unless if I am really, really interested in that side stuff, I will generally not do it.
See, I did that first. I did all the side stuff first. After, I mean, you unlock most of it by like the end of the second chapter of the story. So I went and did all of the side stuff, and then I saved the story for last. And I agree, the story wasn't incredibly gripping, but the gameplay updates from the first Spider-Man game still made the game a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong, fantastic game. I really, really enjoyed it, and I would recommend it to anyone. It didn't grip me as much as I wanted it to, or as much as the first one did when it came to the story. And it felt like a lot of like, not necessarily rehashed, but just stuff that was very, very predictable. The one thing I will say about it though is it's going to be really interesting to see where they go with Spider-Man 2.
Absolutely, yep.
I don't see how we're going to be able to go back to Peter, because Miles, in comparison to Peter, feels so much more powerful because of his Venom abilities.
I mean,
and
I don't know anything about Miles Morales, but I think it'll kind of do what it did in the original Spider-Man, where it hopped between different perspectives.
Which will be fine. But the core difference between Miles and Peter is obviously Peter's got all the normal Spider-Man abilities that you know, and then gadgets, whereas Miles has this like basic bioelectric power that makes it so that he can hit harder, swing faster. He can do everything in a more powerful way than the normal Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And he can also go fucking invisible. So, like, you see what I mean in that from a power level, Miles feels so much more powerful and so much like in comparison to Peter, just feels so much higher than him. But he doesn't have the gadgets that Peter has.
Yeah,
So,
I think gadgets will be a big element, and honestly, what I'm hoping for is a game where you can play as either or both of them. Like, how cool would it be? I talked about this, I think, in maybe Discord one day. I think it'd be awesome if you could play through the story as Miles and there was different variables, and you can play through as Spider-Man and there's different variables. Or maybe they make it more of a Spider-Verse thing, which I know some people don't want, but
I want that shit. But
I think that would be awesome. You could play the game over and over and it would change a little bit. There'd be different main stories, but ultimately the same elements.
Do you know what I genuinely think is going to happen? This is my genuine views on how the next Spider-Man game could go. So say it's a 20-hour story campaign. The first 5 to 10 hours, you play as a little bit of Peter and a little bit of Miles.
Yep.
And then partway through, Peter dies, and it's because of a fuck up from Miles that Peter ends up dying. And then you end up playing the rest of the game as Miles, who is suffering and struggling with the fact that he caused Peter to die.
I'm into that.
That's how I see
that.
That is how I could potentially see the next game going.
I thought that's how this game was going to go, truthfully. I mean, in the very beginning, they kind of allude to it, and you're like, oh, God, here we go. But I don't know.
That's the thing. This game feels like it's setting up Miles to take over, which makes me feel like the next game is going to be the death of Peter and Miles taking over in an official format.
Oh, God, please no.
I could see that, though. Like, Miles Morales, the game, was basically the pilot to see if it would catch on enough for people to be okay with Miles taking the title of Spider-Man if something, just in case something were to happen to Peter.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I think is going to happen. You'll play as both. And it may even be that Peter dies while you're controlling Miles. So something you do as when you're in control of Miles and it causes him to die. And then you as the player then is also suffering with the fact that you've caused that loss.
Wouldn't it be cool if you had the option, though, too? Like, if you could control that element of the story. I mean, I assume they're going to milk this for a long time. There's going to be lots of Spider-Man games because they're so popular and people love Spider-Man. But it'd be kind of interesting if you could actually choose that.
Mike, did you have a point you wanted to raise?
I just thought it'd be cool if. I mean, I just want to say that like the Spider-Verse makes anything possible.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
So it's like, all these like, there's so much to theorize and stuff, which I love in games when you can do that. But I just
definitely.
Just want to say that I really want to move on because it's making me so sad that I'm not playing Spider-Man yet.
So I mean, they're the two core games that I've played. I've recently purchased and reinstalled Fallout 76 because Matt wanted me to, and I got it for £6, and I was like, £6? Why the fuck not? And I've also reinstalled Monster Hunter because I've purchased Iceborne. Yes. But my save is gone. I can't find it. It's not on my PS4. It's not in the cloud, so I've had to start from scratch.
No way! Oh my
god! Honestly, it is nowhere. I've searched my entire PS4. I've searched my cloud. I've searched everywhere for it, and it's just not there. So I've restarted. I started from scratch the other day. I'm up to the point where you can start playing with friends again. Yeah. So I need to.
If that was to happen to me, that's 200 hours gone. I'm never getting back either.
Well, I need you and Ryan and anyone else that's played Monster Hunter to come and help me get through the early parts of the game to plough through the storyline so I can get back to where I was.
Yeah,
which was about 100 hours in. But that's
I've never played
casual 100 hours. Jeez, get it.
Well, you should download it, Cheese, because it's on PS5, PlayStation Plus collection.
I know. I need to. It's one of those games that I've always wanted to play and never have. And I remember talking to somebody else, and they're like, "Yeah, I've got 200 hours into it." I'm like,
"Yeah, And we
And
can all
it's-
play it together. It'll be great.
It's kind of, I know I said that's 200 hours that I'll never get back, but it is so easy to sink that amount of time into that game because um, it's just an absolute time sink in the best possible way.
Well, you can sink an hour into one hunt
Yeah,
and not even realise it.
Yeah.
Like, not even realise you've sunk an hour into that one hunt. But that's me, Mike. What about yourself?
I'm pretty hyped about this new Iceborne rumblings that are going on between like all of our friends. So I'm excited about that. But something else I'm excited about is that the PSPlus titles will come out, which I love every month. There's Rocket Arena. I went through this last week. Rocket Arena, Worms Rumble, which is like this Worms game, which is different because it's live action. So you're just running around, and you're worming around, crawling around, whatever fucking motion worms make. I don't know. But you're doing that.
I believe the proper term is wriggle.
Wriggle, yeah. So you're wriggling
wriggle
around.
as a worm.
You wriggle around and you fucking shoot people with a shotgun, and it's a lot of fun. So I'm gonna go for the worst game of the group, which is Just Cause 4, which is this massive open world like chaos simulator, basically, where you just grab guns and blow shit up, and then you just shoot everything that's red because that always blows up in video games. And then there's hurricanes. There's just random hurricanes in it. I didn't get very far because it's just kind of wanky and shit. So it just wasn't for me. This huge open world, all these like millions of objective markers, and I just don't care about the game at all.
That's how I felt about the third one. I think it was a PlayStation Plus download 1 month, and I played it for quite a bit initially. I thought it was fun, and then it just was not. It was
it's just like, oh,
died
blow
real
shit
quick.
up, and then I can fucking parachute around and
Yep.
fly in a little
But-
squirrel suit or whatever. But
yeah, then it's the same thing over and over, and it's just not a very gripping.
yeah,
It basically seemed like a shitty Uncharted game to me.
yeah.
As I said,
go on,
I
Dave.
think I said last week, didn't I, that it's an open playground with a shitty story tacked on.
Yeah, but then that playground gets real stale. It's like a playground with just a slide. You know, it's like it's great.
Well,
It's very funny if you
Well,
love
it's the thing,
slides,
the-
but
If you love slide, yeah, if that's your thing, then
The playground in Just Cause, though, relies heavily on you being imaginative enough to
Yeah.
think
I
of
mean-
the ways to like utilize it.
to be fair, it does have a lot of like gadgets. I'm just laughing at just going round on a slide, just over and over again. But
oh, I love slides.
but yeah, there are like gadgets and tools and shit in this new edition that like make it so you can do things, but still, it just gets real boring real fast for me. I played Rocket Arena, which I actually had a lot of fun with. So it's this, I think it's 4v4 or 3v3. Sort of deathmatch multiplayer shooter. So you'll have one team against the other. But the kicker in this is everyone has like jetpacks. Everyone can jump, like triple jump and shit, or fly. And everyone has a rocket launcher of some description. And the idea is just to blow each other up. And I had a really great time playing this. Apart from when I first started playing it, I had this kicker where my internet went down or something like that. I got kicked from the game, but then I got a 5-minute ban. So it's like, fuck this shit. I quit this game, and then I played Worms Rumble. And
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was like, fuck this. But just because
Fuck
of
this, I'm
just a disconnection, and I got like a fucking 5-minute match ban. I was so annoyed. And then I went back to it like 5 minutes later after a couple of games of the Worms Rumble, which I'll get onto. And I played it again, and it happened again. and I got kicked again, and I got a 5-minute ban again. So I played Worms again. So I played a lot of Worms and not much of Rocket Arena. But what I played of Rocket Arena, I know I said last week that it's just one of those games that will just die, and it will. But I had a lot of fun playing it. There's a lot of different characters which I like, and a lot of different abilities. And I had such a good time. I was like fucking murking people. I was like winning every game with the highest amount of kills. And I eventually realised that I was just playing against bots because it just puts you co-op with 3 other players against bots. So we won every game, and I was like, I'm fucking murking. I was like bragging to Ellie. I was like, babe, just fucking watch this shit. I'm killing everyone. I was so good at this game. Maybe this is my calling. Maybe this is it. Maybe I'm a pro Rocket Arena player. And then I realised I was just playing against bots. So I stopped playing that game. when I got into like the player versus player section, because you have to do like 5 levels or something like that, and then you get into like the next tier or whatever, like you unlock the next game mode. So it's basically practice and then the real thing, and then the real thing. I just died constantly. So I was like, I'm done with this game. But saying that, there are a lot of fun characters, and everyone plays differently. But in those down times, in those match bans, I played a lot of Worms. Worms Rumble, which is this new game that's out for the PS5 and 4. And I will say that on the 4, which I played it on because I don't have a PS5.
Oh, you don't have PS5?
Yeah, I don't know if you know that.
I mean, I heard rumblings.
Yeah, there's rumours about it that I don't have a PS5, but I played it on the 4.
I mean, there were rumours that you were close to getting one and you didn't quite.
Okay, I was a minute away in the queue. I don't want to talk about it. So I'm going to talk about it. Yeah, like just tried to pre-order one game, and then there was like a minute in the queue left, and then like a message came through that was just like, "Oh, we're sold out. Really sorry about this waiting time of over almost 2 hours of waiting, but now we sold them all. Fuck you, game. If you're watching this or listening to this." But Worms Rumble's really fun.
I mean, you realise game don't give a shit, even if they were listening.
Oh no,
they don't care.
Okay, I don't give a fuck. They're rolling in some PS4 money, right? Oh, PS5 money right now.
Rolling in the dough.
Anyway, Worms Rumble is really good. We should all play it together at some point.
Yeah, I've played one deathmatch, and I enjoyed it.
So yeah,
I enjoyed it more than I thought I would.
Yeah, it's kind of weird if you're used to Worms, because Worms was turn-based, take your go, and then it's the next person's go, and it was like this team game almost, where you'd have a squad of 4 or 5 people. I think we talked about it last week with Max about naming your like worm characters, like school friends' names and shit like that.
Yeah, the biggest difference I noticed is that obviously in old school Worms, because it was turn-based, you had time to aim.
Yeah.
Whereas in this, like, it's so quick, you're having to sort of try and aim at the same time.
It like when you get into like a scuffle between like 3 or 4 different people, it is really like fast-paced and intense.
Yeah,
in a way, you can get like. Because you can like jump and then double jump, I'm sure, and then there's this new feature where you can roll, so you can like roll really fast to get like around the map faster. But you can't aim or shoot, and then when you aim with the right stick, so I feel like it's very heavily favoured for like PC players. If it's out on PC, I'm sure it probably will be.
Is it too much to ask that hopefully this will be a reigniting worm-based games, in that we'll get an Earthworm Jim game?
I mean, when you talk about worm-based games, I think actual worms is the better.
Yeah, Earthworm Jim is a game about a worm in a suit.
Talk about that. I literally bought the Earthworm Jim game on Xbox 360 because you got an avatar after doing the first mission, and I played that first mission and never played it again.
But Jim's great,
but just
fucking hard.
But just rocked the Earthworm Jim avatar outfit like just constantly.
Love Earthworm Jim.
Yeah. But yeah, Worms is. I mean, I said it to be like the next kind of Fall Guys, and it kind of is in the way that it's like you have all these customization options for how your worm looks, which you can't really tell when you're actually playing the game because you're just very fast and chaotic. But it's a lot of fun, and yeah, you should all just get it because it's free on PSPlus. So that's
Yeah,
it.
I
That's
mean,
it for
I've
me.
got it. I'm just waiting for you to be available to play it.
Yeah, anytime. Name the time and place, and then I'll say a different time and place when I'm actually available.
Time and place, then we'll play it in like 2027.
Yeah. Or like we've all got Iceborne, and then we'll never play
Never
it
play it
together.
together.
Ever. Yeah.
When
Yeah.
Mike gets a PS5, we'll be able to play.
Wow.
Because we otherwise we have to play on PS4, correct?
No, it's crossplay.
I think it's
with
it's cross-gen cross-play.
cross gen. Yeah.
Well, in that case, I'll play for my PS5.
Yeah, we can play with PS5 with him on PS4.
Yeah, so
we'll just have better loading times and look better.
so
Yeah, we'll just make him feel like shit the entire time on purpose.
yeah. So speaking of
Yeah.
of really mean things to say, I'm going to segue into our topic of the week, which is favorite villains.
Yeah. Yeah,
That was a terrible segue.
Shut up.
Awful segue. So our topic of the week is as Mike said, favorite villains. So our top 3 best video game villains in our opinion. We'll round robin as usual. So we'll start with our 3rd best and work our way to the top. So, Cheese, if you want to give me your 3rd best villain and why.
Yes. And again, I talked to Mike about this before we started recording. I am the worst person to bring in for this conversation because I don't even know. I haven't played too many of the like greatly known games. So mine are more of the average gamer's favorite villains. Number 3 for me is the Flood from Halo. I don't think Halo is a horror game, but anytime you play the campaign and you're dealing with a flood and you're in like a dark room, it feels like a horror game. The flood covers many different little species, from the little puffy things that blow up, then the little puffy things attack you, and there's it's just a terrifying, amazing species, I suppose it is. It's basically a parasite, and they're kind of against the Covenant and they're against the people, and they're awesome villains.
I mean, yeah, I don't disagree with you. They're terrifying.
They're terrifying.
That was one of the biggest things from Halo. Is just they were terrifying. The Flood are a terrifying set of villains.
I always thought
And
they
it's
kind
fun-
of looked like
yeah.
seaweed. Just
You
like a
look like
massive
seaweed.
seaweed. Wow. Wow.
We always called them.
First
we
the
always called them.
PS5 and then now this.
We
Hey,
always
the
call
rum's-
them. Go ahead.
The rum's going to my head.
We always call them little.
Showing up in
call
front
them-
of all your friends, Shane.
He's not even drinking. We used to call we used to call the Flood little cream puffs because we were like 10 years old, 12 years old playing Halo, and they're just these little. They're not cream filled, I guess, but they were fun because you could just melee and pop them. Good villains.
Yeah, great villains. Yeah, great villains.
But cream villains.
Mike,
Cream puff.
what's your 3rd villain? What's your number 3 in the villain listing?
It's hard to choose between the 3 that I've picked, but I'm gonna say GLaDOS from the Portal games, because she was a bitch. She just wanted to like make you suffer. She just wants to watch you suffer through all these like puzzles and like these death traps that she'd like formulated. There was a promise of cake, and there's no cake. The cake is a lie. But yeah, GLaDOS is like up there because it's just this computer AI, and it's just evil. Like, and it taxes my brain. And I don't like nerd puzzle shit. So yeah.
All right. So not very good at the quick maths, are you?
No, maths is not my strong point. But saying that, Portal 1 and 2, I finished them both. And I don't finish games.
They're not particularly long games, though, are they? In fairness to
I
them.
finished them though. Shut up.
Stop putting down my dreams.
So, I mean, yeah.
Well,
I mean, if you don't know GLaDOS, then play Portal
You
1
should.
and 2. You should.
or just look up the
superb
song on
villain.
Spotify. There's the GLaDOS song, isn't there?
Yeah, there's actually two. There's one at the end of Portal 1, there's one at the end of Portal 2, but the Portal 1 song is like superb. It's so fucking good. It's
It
actually
is really good.
I'm surprised it wasn't in my like wrapped up Spotify best songs of the year because I listen to that song a lot.
let's not get into wrapped up Spotify, shall we?
Probably not.
I've
I mean-
recently shared mine, and that's created a few debates.
Yeah, it's the same as last year. Cascada again.
Cascada again. My number 3, and I'm going to put this one at number 3, is because it's an obvious answer with regards to the name of the character, and that's the Joker from the Batman Arkham series.
Mhm.
As I say, it's obvious because it's the Joker, but I honestly think that is the Joker in the Arkham series is the best Joker that we've ever had portrayed in any form of media ever.
That's a hot
within-
take because although that Joker
not
is
including
so
the
fucking
Joker
good-
film.
Oh right, okay.
Not because there's no
off.
other superheroes in that film. That's a film about mental health as opposed to a film about superheroes. But as in
I guess
within
so.
a superhero setting,
Yeah.
as in within a film that has Batman or any other superhero-esque character, I think the Joker in the games is the best Joker that we have ever seen. And then, I
although-
treat the Joker in the film, the Joker separately, because that's, like I say, it's more about mental health than it is about superheroes.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that statement. We do have the Heath Ledger Joker, which is very popular, and he is kind
Yeah,
of.
but I don't like the Heath Ledger Joker.
He's this like kind of personification of chaos, but then the Joker in the games is just this more characterized version of that. I think.
The one that I really, so for me, it's the Joker in the second game that really gets me because he's so weak and feeble from the events of the first game, but that doesn't make him any less of a villain.
Mm.
He's pulling the strings, but he's almost he's on his deathbed at this point.
He is still out to completely fuck over Batman, which is great.
Yeah. And that end scene where you see, obviously, I mean, I know it's spoilers, but this game's like 10 years old now.
Yeah.
But that end scene
Sorry,
where
T,
you
you've
see,
not-
like,
probably not played it.
probably not played it.
I haven't.
But where
I
you see
own them.
Batman,
I do own them.
like, carrying the Joker out of the church at the end, or is it the church? Whatever building it is. It's just an incredible scene.
It
This,
is,
like,
it is really like, yeah.
this,
It's pretty good.
like, run down, old, battered, diseased man, and you're just like, how has this fucking guy been pulling the strings in the background?
Yeah.
Like, how? I just think it's really well done how they
And
sort of portrayed him.
Mark Hamill voices that Joker.
Yeah, because he voices the cartoon series one as well, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Or one of the cartoon series ones,
Yeah.
and he just nails,
He's superb. I mean,
absolutely nails it.
It's better than his Luke Skywalker, in my opinion.
I mean,
It's so fucking good. It's so on point.
I agree because his Luke Skywalker's,
He's a
I mean-
shit actor in Star Wars.
yeah.
I'll say it.
You're
Hot
not wrong. You're
take,
not wrong.
Hot take, but still.
But no,
Yeah,
as, like I say, putting aside the Joker film, I would say that he is the best Joker. Mark Hamill / the video game one is the best Joker. And I know what you said about Heath Ledger, but I always prefer Jack Nicholson. So
Yeah, nobody talks about Jack Nicholson anymore. And
no, because
he is
but-
probably the best Joker and in the
I-
film series.
out of the film series, and I've had this conversation with my partner because she's a big Heath Ledger fan, and she likes that Batman series. But you've got to look at each Joker differently, because the Heath Ledger Joker is the Chaos Joker. The who was the one in the most recent films? What was his name?
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, he was like the gangster Joker. But Jack Nicholson.
Oh no, I was sorry. I was talking about in the.
Oh no, you're thinking of the mental health one. Who was the one who did the one that was in Suicide Squad?
That was Jared Leto.
Yeah.
So he was like the gangster Joker, and then Jack Nicholson was the closest, in my opinion, to the comic book Joker. It was the comedy, joke Joker.
Yeah.
I think back to that scene in Batman where he walks into the museum art gallery playing Prince, just spray painting the paintings while dancing. And it's like that is my perfect Joker.
80s.
It's just great. I love it. That's my number 3.
Also, the greatest quote of all time, which is never mess with another man's rhubarb.
Oh mate, that film has so many good quotes. The bit at the end as well. The have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? Just
so
fucking
good.
Great film.
So good.
Anyway, Cheese, you're number 2, because otherwise we're going to be talking about Batman all night.
My number 2 is Gary Oak from Pokemon Red and Blue, the Game Boy version. Gary Oak was probably the first person I ever called a fuckface, because he's this little shit who is the grandson of Professor Oak, and this motherfucker wants to destroy you, basically. He's your rival through the entire game. He's basically a rival throughout Pokemon everything. I realize that, but my first introduction to Pokemon was the Game Boy game on my not even colored Game Boy. Having a twin brother, everything's a competition. So like going against this dude in a game just pissed me off. He tried to one up you. He tried to be better than you. So my second playthrough, Gary was named my brother's name, because I'm like, nah, fuck you, man. I'm going to destroy you. Speaking of, my brother's literally calling me right now. So that's funny. Yeah, Gary Oak.
Because I heard you talking shit.
The hairs on the back of his head have stood up. Shit, Cheese is talking about me.
Okay, he's bald too, so I'm offended. But yeah, Gary Oak, it's a fun rivalry for a mostly kid game, but since I'm a casual gamer, that guy sucks.
I kind of agree with this, because like you could name Gary Oak in the Game Boy games, couldn't you? And everyone that I knew, I spoke to about this game, their rival was always that one kid in school that they didn't get on with.
Yes.
And for me, my rival was just called Lee, because it was this guy at school that I hated. That's why I named him a rival. And I used to really fucking enjoy beating the shit out of his Rattata and shit like that. Like I got so much satisfaction from that. So ultimate villain was that kid in school that you should just be your rival.
Or your twin brother, yes.
Yeah. Yep. Totally agree.
It's a great introduction to hate, truthfully.
Maybe that's why the game exists, to teach children about hate.
To fuel hate.
Yep.
Pokemon.
What about you?
Pokemon.
What about yours then, Mike? What's your number 2?
All right, I'm gonna go for. It's so hard to order these, because they were just like, these are the 3 most evil people ever. But Handsome Jack in the Borderlands 2 was this new villain that was introduced to the series, and he was such a great character. Like he was introduced early on into the game, and he'd just be constantly talking to you throughout the game, and he was funny and kind of weirdly likable. But the more you get to know him, and the more you get to know about him and his story, he is fucking evil. Towards the end of the game, you find out that Borderlands, if you don't know, it's about some vault hunters, and then there is these people called sirens that have these special abilities and powers that can unlock the vaults that the Vault Hunter are hunting for. And there's these, there's a certain amount of them in the world of the sirens. And so Handsome Jack's daughter is a siren. So he essentially uses his daughter to, gain access to the vaults, or he's just using his daughter for his own personal gain. But it's in this twisted manner where it's like he's doing it out of love in a weird, twisted kind of way. And beating him at the end was just, again, it just took me straight back to that Pokemon childhood where it's like, yes, you're fucking dead. Like, fuck you. Like, shooting him. He's already dead and his character model's on the floor, but he's still shooting him in the face. Just because, like, he's just so evil. Like, and there should be, like, a few other special mentions, like people like Andrew Ryan and, Ganondorf and stuff like that. Like, these huge big hitters in, like, the big evil guy, big hitters, but they don't hit on a personal level as much as that Handsome Jack does, where it's all about his just a basic abuse of his daughter. Like, he has her hooked up to all these machines at the end and stuff, and these crazy boss battles and stuff. And I don't know if either of you, I know, geez, you were busy playing FIFA, but Shane, have you played much Borderlands?
I played the first one, and then I didn't really like the second one onwards, so I've only ever played the first one.
I actually have the Handsome collection or whatever it's called, and I probably played that game for a total of like 4 hours, and then now it's just gathering dust.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those games where you just have to buddy up with someone and then just constantly play it with them, because I played it with my nephew and my sister as well. We just barreled hours into that game. Like, the game itself is just a fun gameplay loop of you shoot people, numbers pop out, you pick up another gun, you shoot them again with that gun, bigger numbers pop out, and then it's just a constant loop of like getting more numbers, because it's that kind of looter shooter thing that's in a way like Borderlands kind of refined that genre of the looter shooter.
Yep.
Where you're constantly like chasing more loot, more guns, just to get higher numbers and that whole kind of thing. But yeah, Handsome Jack, evil as fuck. Shane, what's your
Evil
number
as
two?
fuck. My number two is, it's another obvious one because he just looks evil, but he's out of all of the 15 to 25, how many Final Fantasy games there has been. This is the one that stands out to everyone, and automatically people know who this is, and that's Sephiroth, the Final Fantasy big boy badass.
Yeah, Sephiroth he's the one guy with the big sword, and
he's like, anyone who sees that picture automatically knows A, it's Final Fantasy, and B, who he is. I'm sure if I showed you a picture, you'd go, he's a bad guy. He looks like a bad guy.
Yeah.
He's got a big fuck off sword, like, that's longer than his body. How he wears it on his back, I don't know. But and he's got long silver hair, and he's just...
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah, even the description was enough, like...
But he's, like, devoid of all emotion. So he basically, like, believes that the Earth is killing the planet, and he wants to destroy the planet, and he's working for Genova, who's like an alien being, and he's basically setting about to destroy the entire planet. But he does it all with like an emotionless callous, just doesn't seem to care. And there's a scene in
It Must Happen, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I never played the original Final Fantasy VII or the remake all the way to the end, because they were just too drawn out and long, and I didn't get on with them very well. But I never actually found out why Sephiroth was evil. So it's just a dude with a big sword that pops up every now and then to me.
Yeah, his views, like because it's very complicated without going into lots of detail. Like there's stuff to do with they like fused with cells of Genova to make them super soldiers, and he's like linked to Genova, and Genova's this alien being that was like taken from a meteorite. But there's a scene in I don't know if it's in the remake because I've not finished it, but it's definitely in the original where you have a character named Aerith, and she is your healer and love interest, and she's very like
this
she's
is
just very.
probably spoilers for this 20-year-old game, maybe.
I was going to say it's a 20-year-old game, so I'm not that fussed about the spoilers. But yeah, so Aerith is like, I say she's your love interest, but she's like this really, really innocent girl. Like she wants nothing but to help people, and she has the ability to summon a spell that can basically heal and protect the world, because he summons a spell called Meteorite, therefore to destroy the planet, and she's summoning Holy to protect the planet. And while she's summoning the spell, he jumps from like 500 feet in the air with his big fuck off sword straight through the center of her body. She is like a fucking shish kebab. And it was such a, when I was a child playing this game for the first time, it was such a traumatic moment watching
Crying.
this character that I've come to love just get fucking skewered.
Yeah, I mean,
It's just horrific.
well, I know, Cheese, you were watching as well, and I don't know if Shane you saw, but Jedi was streaming the remake. We kind of made the point of saying that Aerith was just this kind of like airhead.
Yeah,
she's just
so
super,
innocent.
like sweet and innocent, and it was just like,
yeah.
You first see, and she's just handing out flowers in this like grungy city that's like basically a sewer.
Exactly, and they work really hard to make her this super innocent, like super likable character, to just then fucking shish kebabber
Yeah,
just out of nowhere, and like you don't see it coming either. It's just she's performing a spell, dead. You're like, oh fuck.
oh, okay.
And I remember it, yeah. And so for that reason, like, and when you look at, obviously Final Fantasy VII has had multiple sort of spin-offs, and because it's their most popular Final Fantasy by a long way.
Yeah,
and
sure.
you look at the film,
the Advent Children,
Advent Children, and he comes back in that, and he's equally as callous and horrible in that as he is in the games.
Yeah.
So yeah,
like I watched that film before I knew anything about what happened in the 7 game. And again, it just didn't come off as this pure evil force. It was just like he was kind of Cloud's rival, but I didn't know why. When I watched the films, it was like I just have this weird kind of disconnect with that character because I've not played through those moments, and I've just kind of heard about it and been like, oh, okay, yeah, that's what happens, whatever.
He's just, even in the films though, he's almost emotionless.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I totally agree with that. Like he is like this just pale face, like I must do this, like almost robotic in a way, like you know, the world needs to be destroyed because
that's the only way forward.
Because
it's almost like you can almost attribute it to kind of like the way that the like Hitler and the Nazi Party were like, well, this needs to happen because that's just the way that it needs to happen. Because in his view, that was what needed to happen, and that's the way that Sephiroth was looking at the world, and just that it doesn't matter how many people it kills or how many people it hurts. This is just what needs to happen.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely like some depth to it for sure. Like, you know, comparisons that can be made like that, definitely.
Please, what's your number one?
So first, I'll do the honorable mention, which is my wife's top villain.
I thought you were going to say your wife for a moment there. My wife is the biggest villain in my life.
She makes me clean.
Which I didn't do. Pyramid Head from Silent Hill was her top villain choice. I was talking to her about the podcast, and she's like, "Oh, are you going to say this one?" I'm like, "I will for you." So, shout out to Mrs. Cheese. Pyramid Head from Silent Hill is her number one. My number one is going to be a shock to some people as a villain, but my number one villain is Mario. And it sounds ridiculous, but if you think about it, this
Dunno.
dude basically destroys the entire kingdom to save a girl. He kills turtles.
He does kill a lot of turtles. So
he,
many
like,
turtles.
He
I was
just,
going to say, I've seen that 1990s film. Like, he is a villain all the way.
yeah, he is. He really is. And it's just like, there's no real reason to like Mario. They've never once given you a reason to like this dude.
Yeah. And
Max
So-
is not going to enjoy this episode.
Mario sucks, part 2.
Mario sucks.
He's just a bad guy. That's all.
He
That's
is.
all.
Yeah. He's just chasing some puss, basically. Across
He-
various
he's like-
different castles.
He's almost like a typical jock. It doesn't matter who he hurts, as long as he gets his puss at the end. He didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
He'll just beat his way through anyone to get some puss.
And it just happens to mostly be turtles and mushroom people. But
Yeah.
I mean, he does what he's got to do, and apparently,
Yeah, but does he have to do it?
But like,
Could he not just jump over them, avoid
in
them?
Super Mario World, and I know, Max, this is your favourite game because you'll probably be listening to this. You literally stomps down a castle, he blows it up with some TNT and stomps it down to move forward. Like, you could just walk past that castle, dude. Like, why are you blowing it up with some fucking TNT shit and then stomping on it when you've just gone through and annihilated every turtle in that castle?
Fucking Mario Demolition Man.
Basically, yeah. Just going through.
And the fact that like he's never really succeeded in getting the girl, like this is probably I would say easily the most popular game franchise of all time. But like it's because the games are fun, not because the story is gripping. Like there's no substance to this story at all.
Gotta
What
get
are you
the
talking
print
about?
out.
It's a really relatable story. It's a guy who's been friend zoned and doesn't realize he's been friend zoned, so he continues to push it. It's the most relatable story ever. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
like,
but that's not their
I'm a
selling
nice
point.
guy.
Why don't you
Yeah.
like me? I'm nice. I've
Like-
just punched this turtle.
If they sold it that way, if the next game was called Nice Guy Mario, then maybe I'd change
Like,
my mind.
Peach is
It's
just chasing this bad boy Bowser. Like,
Yeah,
just
at what
way
point
into
did we
this
get the
bad boy.
Mario game? Yeah, at what point did we get the Mario game where Peach denies Mario and Mario just has to like sulk and eat pizza and live in a basement somewhere?
There'll be
'cause you
the
can't afford rent.
next Mario game. You'll play the entire game and you'll get to the end. You'll get to Peach and she'll be like, "I'm here by choice. I fucking love Bowser. Fuck off."
It's gonna be a rejection simulator where Mario slowly loses his hair and he gains a bunch of weight and he just like it's a game of self-loathing. That's all.
The whole game you actually do play as a plumber. You just go to toilets and just plumb them. I'm just getting this shit out, love.
Just huge sucking sound, like, oh, big job this. Gonna unclog
Like-
this shit again. 'cause
You've got a between
Peach
L and
left
R.
me.
You have to control his hands to make sure the plunger works right. L1 R1 L1 R1.
using them Switch fucking HD Rumble to really feel the shit.
It's gonna be called
Unclog it.
the game's gonna be called Super Mario Plumber's Crack, and then that's it.
Yeah. And this
I
is
like
why you
it.
can never get hold of a plumber, because they're always just chasing puss. Just constantly chasing puss.
It'd be even better if he, like the beginning of the game, he gets Peach pregnant, and then every time that you do a job, you earn a bit of money, but you have to give a little bit to her for child support.
Oh god.
Just make it super realistic. Go down the GTA level of realistic.
Go to the Mushroom Kingdom strip clubs and shoot up the little mushroom people. Yeah, never mind. I'm gonna stop.
Mike, what's your number one? Let's just get out of this hole that we're digging.
Right, it's Psychomantis, because that bastard reads your memory card. And Psychomantis, the Metal Gear Solid 1 enemy, if you don't know or have never played Metal Gear, he is a dialogue section. It's in a cutscene. He reads your memory card and says, "Oh, you've been playing," and for me, I've been playing another Konami game. Which was called As Your Dreams, which I'm favourite of them. So he read it out as, "Oh, you've been playing As Your Dreams," and me, fucking 12-year-old, blew my fucking shit out. Like, I was so blown away by this, because it was voice acted, and it literally like read what I thought was my mind, because I've been playing Metal Gear Solid, and then on the downtime of that game, I've been playing some As Your Dreams, which is this crazy like almost roguelike tower game where you go up in the tower and then you collect monster eggs, and then when you die you go back to the village, and then you help build your village up with the money you make from the tower that you go in. Great concept. It's like early Stardew Valley in a way. Super good. You should play it. But Metal Gear Solid, that guy, not only does he breach some kind of data, like, GRPD, whatever, like, he just blew my mind as a kid, and as a villain, that reading your mind is the most evil thing. I'm reading my memory card because there's some Crash Bandicoot saves on there. And,
So I've never got Psycho Mantis, mainly because I'm not very good at the Metal Gear Solid games, so I don't play them. But my only knowledge of this character, have you ever seen the Metal Gear Solid? Like, there's a Newgrounds series. Around Metal Gear Solid.
Raptor, is it?
Yeah, when he gets to Psycho Mantis, it's like, you like men, you can read my mind? No, fuck. That's literally the only experience I know of this character.
But it was like, imagine that, but like you're 12 and he just reads your mind, and you're like, fuck. He knows what I've been playing.
Yeah, that is, because then it also wasn't MGS the game that also had the boss where you could plug your controller into slot 2.
Yeah, that was
and
Psycho
take
Mantis.
control of it.
That was Psycho
Oh, that
Mantis.
was Psycho Mantis.
So the only way you could beat him was by unplugging your controller out of slot 1, which you play for the entire game, and then plugging it into slot 2, because he'd read your thoughts, and you were unable to shoot him, because your controller was plugged into slot 1. It was so, like, I mean, fucking
groundbreaking.
Yeah, I know it's Kojima was like the ultimate villain behind that, because his like fourth wall breaking shit is like so well renowned now.
Yeah.
But there was moments like that, and then there's also a moment early on in the game where you have to get a code, like a codex call code, that you have to.
It's in the manual, isn't it? Or like the back of the box.
It's like, yeah, it says check the back of the CD cover. So I explored the entire game, like scrubbed the entire game looking for a CD box, and it was literally on the back of the game box that you buy, like as a human in the real world, and there's a digital code on the back that you have to type in on the game. And there's just so many moments in that game like that just like make this game to real world connection that's like just insane, and that really like that solidified what gaming is meant to be for me.
It blew your tiny little mind.
It blew my tiny little mind, and it did it in the most evil way. So super villain, Psycho Mantis, but actual villain, Kojima.
Hear me, you bastard.
Real life villain, Kojima. But anyway, Shane.
What a bastard. So my final one, my number one, is Frau Engel from the Wolfenstein series. More specifically, the most recent 2 Wolfensteins. She is a Nazi, obviously, because Wolfenstein, and everyone's a Nazi in Wolfenstein. And she is just fucking mental. So you experience her in both games. Just
before you like go through this, I say a lot of research. I looked at like a top villains, and then I went through this list, and there's just one that caught my eye that just said robot Nazi, and I was like, it was just a list of like the best villains in gaming, and there was one Robot Nazi. I was like, Shane's gonna do something about some kind of like robot evil Nazi, but
No, so I tell you what, I was also doing research, and I came across a article that it was something like the top 30 villains, and number 8 was Robo Hitler. I was like, oh,
that was it. Yeah, sorry, no, it was Robo Hitler. Yeah, I was like,
Robo Hitler.
Shane's gonna pick that. That's gonna be Shane's.
But no, Frau Engel from the Wolfenstein series is mine. She is this like late 50s Nazi, and she's one of these characters that's been built to take pleasure out of causing other people pain. So without going into too many spoilers, because it's not that old a game, she essentially almost tortures Blazkowicz. But like this kind of sums up what she's like. This is a quote from her: "For your crime, you will die like vermin. I will hunt you down at the end of the earth. I will find you, your skin charred and your fats rendered, your kind exterminated. In the end, I will feed your flesh to the furnace." She is like pure Nazi evil.
Yeah, it's pretty dark.
Yeah, pretty dark as well.
You're gonna render someone's fat and char the skin.
Yeah,
pretty evil.
But
it's pretty villainous.
So on the first game, you come up against her and you actually injure her in a way that's quite horrific, like as in like knife to the face horrific. So when you come across her in New Colossus, the most recent game, she's got all these scars and she's very much out for revenge on you. But she's got like 6 kids who she treats as like her own personal army, and she's just absolutely out to not just kill you, but to make you feel pure pain, and to make everyone that you love and everyone that you stand for and everything that you stand for feel pain. So she is like, for her, as part of the Nazi party in this game, hunting and killing the Jewish people, as BJ Blazkowicz isn't so much a job for her now. It's become almost a sport, just because she knows it will get to BJ.
Yeah,
and it's just they played her. They did her character so fucking well. Like
I played a little bit of New Colossus. I got through almost like
you need to complete it.
I know it's on PS now, and I stopped paying for it. So I'll pick that game up in a sale eventually, and I will play through it because it was really good. Like that beginning bit, you basically climb out of a hospital bed because you're like injured, and you climb into a wheelchair, and then you spend like an entire level going through just shooting people like in a wheelchair, which is like a great intro to a game. Weirdly,
so good.
But I think you meet Frau.
Yeah, you do. She refers to you as a cripple at that point.
Yeah, because you meet her, and then I'm sure it's her daughter, and she's like having this massive argument with her daughter and forcing her to do these things that she doesn't want, and then you go into that like treating her like a personal army, where she's like, you must do this, like you must injure this person or whatever, like, but that I mean that's as far as I got, but I know, like you said, that you've got to finish that story to know how it like truly goes down, but like that first scene, I was like, this bitch is evil.
Yeah,
like,
just
holy shit.
Because she's very much portrayed as like, when you look at, obviously taking away history, just looking at how Nazis are portrayed in video games, because I don't want to get into some political, historical sort of debate, but when you look at video games, like the Nazi party is very much portrayed as, you've got 2 kind of elements. You've got those that are forced into following the ideal, so the general soldiers that are just there, and then you've got those that really believe the ideals, and she's one of these people that not only believes the ideals but almost writes the ideals herself. Like her hatred for the Jewish people in that game, it comes through so clearly in the way that they've wrote her character, that if anything, it kind of comes across as she's the one who hates them and is pulling the strings to the party. Not that Hitler hates them, just that it's her views and she fucking despises them. And they write her story, her character, like so well. And you really need to complete that game.
I definitely will eventually at some point once we've finished playing Iceborne together.
So never.
But the only thing that I can compare that to is the Inglourious Bastards, like the Jew Hunter character.
Yes.
Which is played by Christopher Waltz.
It's Christopher Waltz.
Yeah.
The only difference between them, he does, and the only difference between them is he takes great joy in finding enemies of the state, or in this case, the enemies of the state specifically being Jews, but he doesn't necessarily take joy in torturing them, whereas she takes joy in finding them and torturing
kind
them.
Of next level kind of.
Yeah. Like she likes watching them suffer, whereas his only joy was finding them and then passing them on to the relative people.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's my number one, because she was, in my opinion, as far as games have gone, she is the ultimate Nazi. As far as games have portrayed Nazis, like she is the pinnacle of what a Nazi could or should be portrayed as.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's like ramped up to 1,000, isn't it? It's like
yeah. And that's what I say, taking away the historical element, because I'm sure that there were no Nazis like her.
Talking in
from a
purely video game,
from a purely video game entertainment view, she was as villainous as they could possibly get.
Yeah, proper evil.
Proper evil.
Jeez, you got any thoughts on this proper evil gal?
You kind of lost me at the end here because I don't know who most of these people are.
So, Cheese, have you got any views on Nazis?
I mean, I like how you're like, oh, we don't want to get political, but I'm like, you're talking about Nazis. It's a pretty one-sided conversation, I think. So
it is, but I don't want to mix.
Proper
I don't want
bad.
to mix like Inglourious Bastards and video game Nazis with real life Nazis, because they're very different.
I mean, that's true.
Equally as bad, but still very different.
I kept thinking about the comic book Mouse by Art Spielman, which is like an amazing graphic novel. I absolutely love it. I actually uncovered it the other day when I was digging through a box. I need to read it again, but that's basically what I was thinking of, because I couldn't come up with anything else to interject with.
Okay, well, we are probably pushing our time quite a bit now. We're probably close to 2 hours.
We have just pushed past 2 hours. Yeah.
Oh, this is a long episode today. In that case, Mike, do you want to wrap us up?
Yeah, let's just end it now.
Let's just end this shit.
Let's end it all,
because this is a long episode.
So yeah, you can find us every Monday. We release an episode on Spotify, YouTube, all those places that I mentioned. If you like this episode, give us all the likes and comments, all that shit. But give us your best moments in the comments. That's the only feedback that we need or want. We don't expect any kind of money, or there's no Patreon tier list or anything like that. So it's just a case of if you liked it, let us know. And just hit subscribe and all that good stuff. So it's bye from me, bye from Shane.
Bye from me.
Bye. It is a bye from me. I had myself muted at that time because I'm walking towards the toilet.
Right.
FD. FD. Triple FT.